Hello, I am John Michael Bailey, and this is the Wellspring Digital Chat, where we bring in marketing experts and we dive deep into their psyche. We talk about their childhood. We talk about their opinions on marketing, digital marketing, all kinds of great stuff. So today we have a product marketing brethren of mine. We both speak the same language. He might say it a little bit better, but we'll try not to speak in code for you all and speak in words that you can understand. So Zach, if you could go ahead and introduce yourself to these good folks.
Well, my name's Zach Messler. I was born a poor Jersey boy, and no. So hi, I'm Zach. As you said, John, I spent 20 years in product marketing for tech. What that means largely is just connecting the core value of our offering to what our audience cares about most through all these different channels, whether it's sales channels or marketing channels or partner channels or analysts or the media, whatever. That's product marketing, at least to me. Today, I help founders and their teams know what to say and how to say it so they attract more buyers and sell more stuff. That's it.
Great. So, when I think of product marketing greats, it's you all day long. And I'm excited to talk to you about messaging and positioning, present and future, and really all the things that I think the tech world and businesses in general need to hear, because I think what you bring here is a revelation to them about all the things that they are continuously doing wrong. So
it's foundational stuff. Yeah. So the thing is, everything that I do is about foundations. It's a messaging foundation. Mm-hmm. It's a positioning foundation. This is basic stuff. But somewhere along the path, we all forget the basics because we think they're too basic. Thing is, they work.
Yeah. So that's a perfect key up for my first question, because I really want to talk about messaging today, especially in TikTok society, where everything's a blip, everything's a quick little video. Are we spending too much time still worrying about words, or not enough?
Oh, I definitely think it's not enough.
Right.
I mean, it comes back to intent, right? You see so many, not just companies, or not just people really, but companies. Mm. They don't have a purpose behind what they put out into the market. And I think of TikTok, and it's this short, quick video, and it's it's funny, largely funny. At least that's what I see. Funny stuff or wacko stuff, but there's still a message behind that. Even if there are no words in the video, there's still a message there. And if you put anything out into the world without an intent for why you're putting it out there, what do I want to get across? How do I want to come across? What is the thing I want my audience to think of when they're watching this, when they're hearing this, when they're reading this? If you're not taking that step, your audience is going to define that message for you. Mm. And then once your audience defines that message, good luck.
Yeah. That makes me think we always, as a digital marketing firm, have clients ask us, should we be on TikTok? Should we be on WhatsApp or Snapchat or whatever, the latest is? And I think what you just said there is really the question they need to ask themselves before they even consider going on any of those platforms. Would you agree?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I violently agree. It's what is the reason? If it's just, I got to go on TikTok because everybody's there, that's not a good reason. Right. What's the business reason for a business? What's the business reason for going on TikTok, for going on WhatsApp? And from a business perspective, do you have the resources and the time to be able to manage that channel the way it should be managed? It can't just be this it can be a fly-by-night type of thing, but
it ain't gonna work out.
Fly-by-night results.
Yeah. So And this kind of ties in as well. I mean, especially with tech companies, why can't these companies stop talking about how great they are? What is that?
Well, a couple things. One, it used to work.
Mm-hmm.
It used to work. You used to be able to go out there and say and talk all about your product and how great it is, and people go, "Ooh, I want to buy that."
Right.
But it doesn't work that way anymore. A little bit of that is ego too, for sure. I mean, especially in the tech world, especially in the tech startup world,
Oh yeah.
where you have people who have built, really visionaries who have created these incredible products that do incredible things, and they have a vision for it, and god damn it, that's going to be the vision for it.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and so they don't necessarily want to hear that it's not so good, or it doesn't solve this problem, or somebody's using this in a way that we didn't even think they would use it. That's not how it's supposed to be used. So it's a little bit of ego there.
Yeah, I mean there's a feedback loop almost that they're ignoring when they only talk about themselves,
Oh,
right?
for sure. Well,
Yeah.
this goes bad. This goes to, it's a dirty secret in marketing, which is everybody talks about doing audience research, but nobody does it.
Right.
People say they do it. Oh, we got personas. And usually what happens, and I saw this in my career, right? Usually what happens is, oh, we got to put together personas. And you spend a week, or if you're lucky, a month, and doing a little research, and you come up with these PowerPoint slides that have, Andy, the engineer, and, just mobile Marty, and like all this stuff. And then you don't look at it ever again. But the thing is, if you're not becoming your audience, it's not even knowing your audience, it's becoming your audience. Being able to put on their glasses, walk around in their shoes, pick your favorite cliche about perspective, but taking on their perspective and understanding it, not just knowing it, but really understanding it. There's nuance to that. There's nuance to how people speak. There's nuance to what people want. And if you don't have that perspective, and if you don't make the effort to get that perspective, then you're not going to know it. And if you don't know it, then you're not authentic. I
There
hate
you
that
go.
word. I hate that word. But
But it's
I was listening to an earlier podcast. I think I told you about this. I was listening to an earlier podcast when you had Scott Stratton, and you guys were talking a little about authenticity up front. I think I have that on the brain. But it's true. If you're not taking on that perspective of your audience and doing it purposefully, then you're just selling shit.
And that's, it's interesting because anybody that's watched, a handful of these interviews that we've been doing here knows that a common theme is empathy. But I think, you can say empathy, practice empathy. But if you don't do it, as you said, in a purposeful way, then it's inauthentic.
Well, yeah, it's not doing this so I can sell more product.
Right.
That's not why you're doing it. It's doing it so I can help people the way I can help people solve their biggest challenges that I know we can address. Because if I take on their perspective, then maybe I'll see that, oh, hey, we designed this product for X, but really it addresses blue. So we can look at that problem and see, hey, what are the challenges, or what are the things around blue that aren't being addressed right now in the market? And now all of a sudden I have a whole new, really a whole new, I don't know, it could be positioning for a product, could be a whole new product line, which you wouldn't find if you didn't take on that audience perspective, do the research. It's not just research, I'm going to pivot here for a second, but
there's that damn word.
When I know, but it's so good. I'm going to move over here for a second. I'm going to shift gears for a second.
There you go.
When I used to start product marketing organizations at these tech companies, one of the first things that I would always do is I'd find out who the best salespeople were. I'd pony up to them, and I'd see if I could go on live sales calls. Now, in the world of COVID, we're not doing in person so much anymore, but that shouldn't stop anyone from going on Zooms or on listening in on phone calls.
Sure.
But I'd travel with them, and I'd go to sales calls. And that was the first thing I'd do, because one, you're building trust with the sales team. So that's always important as a marketer. But two, I'm not relying on a secondhand source. I can hear what the audience is saying. I can see their reactions. I can feel their reactions. And there is nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that surprised me, I mean, it didn't by the last company, it didn't really surprise me, is I was almost always the first marketer that ever did that. Not just in that company, but sales guy would say, "Why do you want to come on a sales call?"
Right.
Sure, come on a sales call. I've never had anybody ask me that before. What?
That's crazy.
Insane.
And it's funny because you in one of your recent blog posts, you said this almost exact thing. It is impossible to understand your product or service and its value if you don't deeply know the audience you want to serve, which is what we're talking about here.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Why do B2B tech companies struggle so much with this? Like, what can you say something right now that will somehow smack them alert and make them understand? I know that's a tough task, but I'm challenging you right now. Make them hear you, Zach.
All right. No one gives a shit about your product. No one cares how great you are. They don't. They care about themselves.
Yep.
They might care about what you can do for them, but not in the context of you. They care about things in the context of themselves. And if you can't take on their perspective, you're noise. At best you're noise. At worst you're annoying. No, flip that. At best you're noise. At worst you're gone.
Yeah.
Really.
You don't exist. It's a great point. So I still see, even in this topsy-turvy, flipped on its head world of the pandemic, I still see companies where, old school marketing tactics are still the norm. And I think, I'm wondering, are old school marketing tactics not only ineffective, but also actually detrimental to a company achieving their marketing goals? I mean, in other words, is relying on old tricks doing damage? Do these companies need to open their eyes and smell the coffee? Or there's all kinds of metaphors I'm mixing here, but yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure it's doing damage, but it goes back to how people buy.
Right.
And again, I mean, it's back to that core foundation of audience, and taking on your audience perspective and understanding how people buy, understanding their information needs. It way back in 2006, the iPhone came in, and that changed everything. And it's to a point now, because it changed everything, because now I have everything I need right here. I don't need you, company. I don't need salesperson. I can do my own research. I can get what I want when I want it. Period. There are companies that have not changed their approach. Now, I always like to talk about this in shine a light on car ads. because you can see this in car ads. And I know that that is a mainstream consumer thing, and it's not necessarily a B2B thing. That's the pushback I'll get sometimes. But everyone's a consumer now.
Yep.
Everyone is a consumer. And even though in B2B, and especially in tech, you'll have buying groups and you'll have all, different committees and lots of people helping shape and make that decision, they're still all consumers. So you look back pre-2006 at car ads, and I always think of Lexus guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember Lexus guy, but the all-new Lexus 350 RX, putting the world on notice yet again. At the time, it killed.
Yeah.
Putting the world on notice. I want to be like that guy. He's smooth. He's debonair. I want a Lexus. It's dripping in luxury.
Yeah.
And today it's gross.
Right.
Today, there's a Lexus ad that came out. It was for the UK market, but for the same car. And it's about a minute, and it's Jude. I'll send you a link. It's awesome. Okay. It's Jude Law, and Jude Law drives up in this RX, and he tosses the keys to the valet. The valet, and he smiles and winks, and the valet takes the keys, and all of a sudden he gets in the car. You see the world from the valet's perspective, and he's on a joyride, and he's driving around, and he ends up at some at a nightclub, and he knocks on the window, and the little slot opens, and there's a monkey there, and like he goes in, and it's a party. Then he's at a pool, and there's like, it's just this, like, you see all this. It's just a giant party, and he's getting fed, and he has drinks, like all this stuff, and then you see him pull. He's like, oh, and he's got to go, and he goes and he comes back, and he gets out of the car, and he tosses the keys to Jude Law, and they give the wink back and forth, and then you hear the only words in the commercial: Lexus, live the life.
So much.
Holy crap! Holy crap! Because when you think about how people buy, it's no longer why us, why us, why us, why us. Why change has to come first. And until people feel that need, that burning desire, that fear of what could happen if I don't change, they don't give a crap about you. No one gives a shit about your product until they do.
Right.
If you're focusing on why us all the time, then you're assuming that everybody cares about you. They understand the problem. They're aware that there's a way to do it better. And if you do that, you're missing out on a massive piece of that potential market share. Massive piece, not even potential. It's your market share. You're missing out on it. All because you're focused on me.
Right.
It's not about you.
And it's almost more amplified when you speak about it in a generational sense, like Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z now, if you go at them with old school marketing tactics, they're going to be turned off, like you said.
Well, exactly. It's not just annoyance. Like, you come at me, I am firmly, squarely Gen X. You come at me with that, and I don't have any concept of who you are or why I should care. Now, as a marketer, I kind of go, oh, I could help them.
Right.
But I'm mildly annoyed. You come at my daughter, who's a senior in high school, with that, and my God, it's an offense. It's I've seen it.
It's so true. It's so true. And
but that goes back to the authenticity, though, too.
Yep.
And if you can't take on that perspective and do it in a way that's real, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. It's connecting. It's connecting with your audience. That's what it is.
It's so simple, but
Oh, look, I have a great example of this. So in my business, I said early on, I'm a messaging and positioning advisor, really a product marketing advisor.
right.
And my main offering is called the sounding board. And the sounding board it's a advisory service.
Mm.
And so what I did to come up with that name is I know my audience. I put a survey out. I found people on LinkedIn. I found my audience on social. I had people that I knew I could help and wanted to serve, and I contacted them. And I set up phone interviews. And I spoke to over 100 people. I said, look, this is not a sales call. I am not selling you a thing. I'm doing product and audience research. I'd love your perspective. I'm looking to serve founders and their teams.
Mm.
And I explained the offering. I'm not going to do that here, but I explained the offering, what it was. And I don't remember the exact number, but it's 70 something percent of them said, oh, you mean like a sounding board? Yes, that's exactly what I meant. Yes. That's how I came up with that name.
That's awesome.
It is going to your audience. You pull in the words of your audience and you throw it back at them. Now, look, in a couple years, maybe sounding board won't resonate as much. Maybe I have to change, maybe in a couple months, but it's staying on top of your audience, always having their perspective top of mind, and you can make the changes as you need to.
It's brilliant.
It's basic.
It's basic. It's brilliant, and the fact that it is so basic.
The best ideas are always the ones where you say, "Damn, why didn't I think of that?"
Right. Exactly.
And those ideas are always rooted in foundations. Always.
So I want to talk about storytelling. So we hear so many marketing experts advise companies to tell their story. And I want to know, I want your opinion. What do people get wrong with this? What actually works?
This goes back to the same thing.
Yeah. Is telling your story an effective marketing strategy, or is it just another, well, tell me your thoughts on story.
Well, the challenge with that is people take that too literally.
Yep.
Tell your story. Your story is not your story. The hero of that story should never be you.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be. You have to connect with your audience. Your audience is the hero of that story. I mean, this goes back to Joseph Campbell, 1949, hero with many faces or 1,000 faces. Many. It's who's the hero of the story? The hero of the story is your customer. Mm-hmm. I remember one of my stops. One of the founders, when I was an employee, one of the last companies I worked for, founder-led company, was killing it. The founder was a brilliant, still is a brilliant guy. And he would always get something in his head, and then that would be the focus for the year. And one year it was storytelling. We're going to tell stories. And he got up on stage at sales kickoff, and he talked about storytelling. I'm not going to share the name of the company because it doesn't matter.
Right.
We'll call him. I don't know. What should we call him?
iTech.
iTech. I got it. iTech. Okay. So he would tell these stories, and iTech was the best. And iTech was it was all about iTech. And look at what iTech did for Verizon, and look at what iTech did for this big brand or that big brand or this other big brand. Isn't iTech awesome? Later in that sales kickoff, I think it was the next day, I did a whole presentation on how to tell stories. And I didn't mean to, but I kind of blasted his approach. And here's why. It doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't work. That's going old school. it doesn't work. The hero of the story is your audience, your ideal audience. Your company can be a guide. Your company can be, that the lightsaber, the thing that helps your audience achieve and get to that new bliss,
Right.
overcoming obstacles along the way. And so what I did is I did the case study on mobile company X. We'll call them Verizon, but it wasn't Verizon. So we did the case study on Verizon, talking about Verizon's challenge and how iTech overcame it. iTech helped their IT team do this and that and the other thing. And isn't iTech great? And what I said was, well, I think iTech is great. And I know you think iTech is great, but do we want, and this is the thing, if you take nothing else from this story, do we at our company want our audience to want to be like us? Do we want them to be like us? And that answer is hell to the no. We don't want them to be like us telling these stories. We want them to be like this amazing customer of ours that achieved these incredible results. We want them to be like this other customer of ours who achieved even more incredible results. And we want them to see themselves as these customers in those circumstances. So then I told the story like that with Verizon, or that mobile company at the center. They're the hero of the story. And it's a different story. Who's the hero of that story? That crack IT team at Verizon. They're amazing. They were able to roll out this new program in 3 weeks because they had the iTech platform. All of a sudden, we didn't achieve that. Verizon's crack IT team did, but they couldn't have done it without us.
Right.
Totally different story.
Yep.
Totally different story. That's what most companies get wrong.
It's almost like so like if you want to go with the the hero's journey, it's almost like the hero is the client, and the product is their swift sword that allows that enables them to slay the dragon or whatever. So yeah.
Although one thing I will say, because I see this especially in tech all the time, and this is just, there's a certain 4-letter word that has just become a pejorative for me, and that is tool.
It's a great band.
Our tool. Yeah, great band. Absolutely. Nice. When you use the tool, you can do the problem with that is a tool is a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Tool is a wrench. When I need a hammer, or a screwdriver, that's an even better one. So I got to fix something. Oh, I'll get this, I got to get the screwdriver. I got to undo all this stuff. I go get the screwdriver. Oh, crap. This is a Phillips. I need a flathead. I don't have a flathead. All right, fine. I'm going to the hardware store. I got to buy a flathead screwdriver. It's a tool. What am I going to do? I find the flathead screwdrivers. I find the one that's the right size, and I find the cheapest possible one. And that's what I buy. And I don't care if it has a fuzzy handle. I don't care if it has a, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It is the cheapest possible screwdriver. That's what a tool is. A tool is a commodity. And if you continually talk about your incredible innovation as a tool, you're cheapening it and you're costing yourself a ton of money, and you're losing more deals than you should.
Amen. So before we wrap things up, I want to throw a little bit of a curveball at you, because you were telling me a story about your logo. And
oh yeah,
some people know I came from, I actually founded and ran a design development firm for like 17 years. So I've been through the whole logo design process and that whole thing. But if you could just tell these people your story about your logo, because I think it just kind of sums all of this up perfectly.
All right, cool. Well, here's the logo. This is a piece of it.
I love it.
Sometimes it has my name, Zach Messler, right there. But it's a Z. It's a lightning bolt. Yeah. So probably about
It's a great favicon too. So.
Yo, it totally is.
Yeah.
It totally is. Yeah, I use it for that too. Yeah, if you go to my site, there it is.
Boom. It stands out in a group of tabs. There it is. Yeah, totally.
Boom. Yeah. So, yeah, I was probably about 9 months in, and my website sucked. My brand, my identity, kind of design identity or brand identity, I felt kind of was weak.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear all these people say, "Oh, don't worry about the logo, or don't worry about," which I think is largely true to a certain extent. But I was at a point where it was bugging me. So I have a buddy out of Baltimore who he's a exceptional desiginer. Brown Hornet Design. I'm gonna pimp his.
There you go.
Pimp his company.
A lot of great designers in Baltimore.
Oh, there really are.
Yeah,
there really are. So Chris is my friend. Chris. So I paid Chris a crap ton of money, and I paid him a lot of money.
Sorry, Chris, but you're pricey.
Well,
but you're worth it.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Clearly, you get what you pay for. And so I paid Chris a bunch of money, and we went back and forth a little, and I told him what I was looking for, and I shared some things. Like he asked me to share things from my business, from my life that were meaningful to me, and great. So I did that. And then I heard nothing. And 2 weeks go by, nothing. 3 weeks go by, nothing. Now, excuse me, he wasn't ghosting me. He'd respond, but nothing of substance, nothing about the design, nothing. So finally, I'm like 4.5 weeks in, maybe 5, I don't remember. And I call him up like, Chris, what the hell, man? You got to show me something. What is going on? And then he drops the hammer. He said, Zach, I've been following you. I've been stalking you online. I've been watching your interactions, seeing how you behave, and I'm capturing it all. And then he said, give me a week. I'll have some comps for you. And I bet you there'll be something there that really stands out. And then, bam! And I tell you what, I've done talks and people have come up to me and said, holy crap, man, that Z of yours, that totally captures your energy. It captures everything. That's amazing. I've gotten work. The combination of this logo, and I did a headshot with, this is another story, but I did a headshot with a dude in New York City, big proponent of headshots, as opposed to just, oh, you know what, we'll have Joe in marketing take our pictures.
Yeah.
The combination of a headshot that I did and this logo has legitimately, with nothing else, gotten me business.
I mean, that's impressive.
It's and that wouldn't have happened. This would not have happened without Chris doing that stalking.
And you almost ruined it.
I did.
Well, planting all over.
Really, it's that's right. That's exactly right. But it's almost the brand piece of what I was talking about earlier in our conversation. He was looking to take on the perspective of my audience and visually design something that captured the energy, that captured the value, that captured the tone, just everything. And man, that dude nailed it.
And see, that's the point. We don't sit here and preach about empathy and understanding your audience just because we want you to be a thoughtful and caring person who you know, is out to save the world. We do this because it works. I mean,
That's right. That's right. Well, you think about it. When one of the best pieces of advice you will ever hear is I think it's from Andrew Carnegie.
There you go.
Yeah. So way back.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna change the example. It's from Hamilton. Talk less, smile more. It's talk less and listen more.
Mm-hmm.
Really, when you want someone to like you, what do? You listen to them intently. You hear what they have to say. And you start a conversation that way. You don't talk at them. If you start talking at someone, then they're going to think you're a douche.
And you can't fake it too.
That's right.
You can't fake listen to someone, you know, do that and then completely go off.
Well, that's right. And when it comes to attracting buyers, it is about we want people to like us.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily we want them to like us on a personal level. That's not what I'm talking about. But we do want them to like us.
Especially when it comes to the mobile world.
Oh, for sure. Well, buying has always been, this is kind of, people don't believe this. They think it's a recent thing. Buying has never been exclusively about the facts, ever. It's not about the features. I mean, the way that the messaging has evolved, you used to be able to talk, and they taught this back in the day in business school. Marketing was feature, benefit, feature, benefit, feature, benefit. Then it became benefit, feature. And now I've witnessed this because I'm old, but I've witnessed this because I remember when I first started in marketing, I was in tech and it was feature, benefit, and maybe that was just I had, you know, old school marketing leadership or whatever back then, who knows. But then it definitely shifted. And it was, we can't talk about the features. Nobody cares about the features. They care about the benefits. They care about what our product does. And so it was benefit, feature, benefit, feature, benefit, feature. Those companies that you were talking about earlier, they're the ones that are still caught in benefit, feature.
Right.
But a benefit, talking about a benefit of my product is still about my product. It's not about you. And that's the challenge with that. From benefit solution, it moved again, shifted again to problem solution. We want to become more market driven. So we're going to focus on market problems, which is all good. That's path 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's not popular. That's not a popular. There's a dude on LinkedIn, a really well-known sales guy, who blocked me because I hammered him on this. But problem solution, selling the problem is old and bad advice. Selling the problem alone is old and bad advice. It's not problem solution anymore. Today, now it's context, problem, solution. Context is that immediate connection that I get with you. And you can't fake context. People sniff that stuff out.
Yeah.
And if it's fake, again, you're noise. You're at best, you're ignored. At worst, you're so annoying, I never want to deal with you. But context is just what I just got there. It's going for that virtual head nod. Well, if it's an in-person sales conversation, it's going for the real head nod.
Yeah.
But it's before introducing your offering, it's important to have that context before you start talking about the problem. Context makes talking about the problem less fear-mongering. If you don't do context, then it's a fine line between selling the problem and selling fear.
And it all ties in together. So if you bleed over then into the SEO world, everybody now is talking about search intent, searchers' intent, the user intent. What is their intent when they're doing that search? Not just the keywords, but what are they looking to do specifically? And then how do you match your content and your solution to their search intent? And that's what all this stuff ties together, and context is huge and intent
Totally
is
ties
huge.
together.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally ties together. Oh,
man.
I had a thought there and it just gone.
That's the
I'll call you at 3 in the morning when I
there you
wake
go.
up with it.
That's the problem with both of us being Gen X. You have to really hang on tight to those thoughts, and then and then they're gone.
Talking context. It was a good one. Well, whatever.
Oh well. We'll do a part 2.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, Zach, I really appreciate you being here. This was a lot of fun for me. There's, I think, some really important stuff in here for people. So again, thank you so much for doing this, and I hope you have a great 2021. Stay safe and sane out there.
Right back at you, John. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah.